Well, I know we have a lot to do, so we're gonna start. It's 12:01, and I just wanted to thank everyone for coming. If you could introduce yourselves in the chat and what organizations you're with, or if you're part of the Giving Circle, that would be fantastic. And I will pass it over to Jenny, and we just want to make sure that we have enough time for everybody.
So thank you all so much for, being on your Zoom on this lovely sunny afternoon. I know that it has been such a heavy week, and that we're all thinking of the families in Texas. But as I was feeling overwhelmed and outraged and so sad, I thought that this was the place that I wanted to be, with women who come together for their community, who look for solutions, who care, who are really looking to not just build up the next generation of women leaders to solve these problems, but who are out there now solving them. And that is you all and the amazing women who run the programs that we're going to highlight today. So grateful, so grateful for you all and for this community that we built. And really looking forward to seeing you in person on June 23rd. I hope that we have too many people and that we all have to be, out in my backyard with our heels sinking into the, squishy ground so that we can't all fit on my deck. But I'm really looking forward to that chance to be with you all. Today's meeting is going to be, we want to give equal time to each of these 5 amazing organizations that are on the front lines of really addressing the needs of girls in our community, and particularly girls of color. So what I'll be doing is I'll ask each organization the same 3 questions, and they'll share about their work. And what I'd like you all to do is, if you have questions as we go along, please put them in the chat if you don't want to forget them, and we'll make sure that we have question time at the end. Sorry, somehow my phone got turned on medical emergency. How did I do that? And Amber will be timing for us so that everybody gets equal time when we keep everybody to their hour today. So unless folks have questions or comments, we're about to get started. I am thrilled today that we have, we're starting off with Grace Academy. Aurora has been a longtime supporter of Grace, a middle school for Hartford girls. And we're excited to have Janine Cote here today, who is the dean of the program. And Janine, I'm going to ask you to give us an overview of Grace. Tell us about the number and the demographics of the young women that you serve and the key goals and strategies.
Sure. Thank you so much for having me here today. This is my first Aurora Giving Circle, so I'm excited for it. And I went into my 8th grade class just to get a little energy from them. And I talked to a couple of my 8th graders and I said, hey, I'm giving a presentation today. You have any advice? Because they do presentations all the time. And I said, I'm doing it for Aurora. And one of my students, Vida, said, oh, I've been to Aurora events. I did that back in 5th grade. You'll be fine. So I am so proud of the partnership that we have with Aurora and Grace Academy. It really, you've been amazing to our school. So thank you so much for that. So Grace Academy is what our founder likes to call our miracle on Main Street in Hartford. Currently, we have 53 students enrolled. This summer, we have our largest Rising Star program. We have approximately 27 students that will be going through a 2-week process to be enrolled in our school. We'll only be able to have 16 5th graders, and we have spaces for 4 4th grader, for 6th graders. So I fully expect next year for us to be at capacity, which is 60 to 64 students, primarily from Hartford. We do also reach out. We have students from East Hartford, Windsor, some from Wethersfield, one as far away as Middletown. So most of our students are from Hartford. And our key goals next year is to move from the recovery phase. Right now, we're in a recovery phase of just trying to get through this year and to provide as much support as we can, and move towards incorporating all the lessons that we've learned through remote learning, hybrid learning, and then return to full-time, then we return to some remote learning. And then, so we're trying to incorporate all of those lessons to further strengthen our school and really support our school in the next year. So the three key areas that we would like funding for is to increase our counselor, the hours of our counselor. Currently, she works at 12 hours. We'd like, currently she's budgeted for 12 hours. In reality, she was working for 20 hours. We had to pull from various budget items to pay for that. And I would like to increase that to 30 next year. Some professional development is another key component. And at the last question, I'll answer specifically what the professional development would be. And then increased nursing. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but there is a huge nursing crisis, especially school nurses. And we have a school nurse that comes to our school 12 hours a week. And Hartford Public Schools is supposed to provide us with the nurse at least once a week, and has not been able to do that for us for the entire year. So nursing is a huge part of our mental health triage team. So so increasing our nursing would be another avenue.
Great. So Janine, can you just back up just a little bit and
Sure.
and talk about, so it's 5th through 8th grade, right?
Yes.
At Grace. And can you say a little bit about what you've kind of seen during the pandemic? I know that you're kind of shifting into, kind of taking the lessons from that, but if you might be able to,
Sure.
Share the difference that Grace made.
Great. So before the pandemic, many of our kids were at risk due to parental instability, due to economic issues. And then once the pandemic hit, I'm really proud of the fact that we pivoted very quickly to provide all students with Chromebooks. We drove to their houses to make sure that they were okay. We were dropping bags off. We really went into full-on mission during the pandemic. And our students before the pandemic were struggling. And then during the pandemic, it was hugely exacerbated. We also have, as the students have come back from the pandemic, we're dealing with issues of, what happened to them when they were the primary caregiver in their house. They babysat their families, they were providing childcare for their families, or, they were taking Zoom lessons, they were in a math class while they were sitting in Walmart because of childcare issues is a major problem. Also, the fear of the virus, the virus disproportionately affected people of color, and also the fear of vaccine hesitancy and being afraid to get the vaccine. So our student population, while our vaccine numbers are getting higher and higher, we're still at about 70% vaccinated at our school. And right now, because the numbers have gone up again, we're fully masked again at our school. We mask mandated. And honestly, before that, my students wear their masks all the time because the virus really has affected their families. They've lost loved ones. It's really affected our community hugely.
So we're on the last minute, Janine. So what else would you like us to know about Grace?
So my teachers are heroes. My teachers are amazing. I love my students. I love my students. And I feel like all of my teachers feel the same way. We're passionate about our students. We're mission driven. We work really hard. We work from 7 o'clock in the morning till 5 o'clock at night. And any funding that you could give us will be spent so well and meticulously and carefully. Our teachers would love to get more professional development. It's not a luxury to have professional development. It's a great shot in the arm for our teachers. I can see that, you know, they're tired, but when they do professional development, their eyes get big and they say, okay, this is how I can apply it. My teachers are hungry for that. So that would be money very, very well spent. And the counselor actually works with our teachers as well because they need it. Our teachers need support. Our teachers need mental health support as well. And any increased nursing, I mean, our teachers act as nurses during the day. When we don't have a nurse in the building, the teachers are the nurse. I'm the nurse. And so giving us that additional money will allow us to really focus on educating and really focusing at getting at the root of the crisis that our students are experiencing. So I hope that helps.
Thanks so much. Great job.
Thanks.
And now we're excited to hear from Anna Valentin, who is with the Girl Scouts of Connecticut. And Anna's going to talk to us about the STRONG program that they've been able to implement.
Thank you, Jenny, and good afternoon, everyone. I'm so happy to see so many names and so many familiar faces in the chat. It's great. Again, my name is Anna Valentin. I am the Chief Membership and Inclusion Officer for Girl Scouts of Connecticut. I've been with Girl Scouts for about 4 years, and I'm super excited to hear about the other organizations as well who are applying for the funding and grateful for this opportunity. So just prior to the pandemic, we had developed the Girl Scouts Strong program, which is a 12-session program that focuses intently on social and emotional well-being of our girls. And it's for girls in middle school and high school. And we were planning to roll it out just as the pandemic hit. We were not able to pick it up and go as quickly as we wanted to do in person. And so this past summer, we rolled it out full force at one of our schools in Hartford. The girls are with Bird Middle School on Wethersfield Avenue in Hartford, and we had a great time with them. They were very clear about telling us exactly what they needed. Prior to the pandemic, because of the work that I had been doing with our community outreach programs, I had already seen some signs of stress and emotional disturbance with our girls who we serve in the typically underserved communities. So it's Hartford, New Britain, Bridgeport, all the inner cities where Girl Scouts typically don't have access to schools, and so we were able to see the impact of the environment altogether and the girls. And so we developed the program, and we were able to successfully roll it out last year. And most of my girls in those groups are girls of color, Black and Puerto Rican, Latino girls, a number of girls who are coming in also from the Indian communities that are making Connecticut their new place of to live. And so they all have the same very needs. They just want to be girls. They want to be able to have fun, and they have the need for the skills to resolve conflict among each other's, the skills to be able to manage the stress of being a teenager in today's world. And so we've been able to successfully now run the program at 5 different sites throughout Hartford. We've served well over 125 girls, and we're finishing up the last rendition of the program this spring, and we're going to take a quick break. But one of the things that I really love about this program is that we have been able to bring in consultants from the community who look exactly and speak exactly like our girls in terms of that relation building aspect. And so I love that. And so one of the consultants that we bring is an expert on essential oils, and she helps them understand which oil blend is better for, you know, managing stress, or for them to be able to focus on an assignment, or being able to just relax at the end of the day, or prepare for a test. And they absolutely love it. And so, you know, the funding will help us be help us be able to contract out those people, and say, you know, we really need you to be at this school, and this is what the girls are dealing with, and can you work with them? And it's worked out absolutely beautifully. You know, the other part and an aspect of being a Girl Scout is being a member, and we're able to also fund their financial aid or their membership fee through some of the funding that comes out through our grants and through our donors. And so that makes the extended leadership experience within Girl Scout available for the girls. So once they finish the program, they're able to stay on as a Girl Scout member for the direction of the membership year, and then they're able to participate in other opportunities like camping or going out to any of our more specific programs in the area. Some of that includes transportation to and from the programs as well. Jenny, I'm gonna stop there and see if you have any more questions.
Great. Anna, can you clarify that this is not a program that's through like the individual troops, that this is a public program, and can you just explain that a little bit?
It is. And most people are familiar with the traditional troop, where we have a volunteer who will lead a troop for a year and help the girls select the activities that they do. This is through our community outreach efforts, through our specific division, where we go out and partner with the Grace Academies of the world, or, you know, the Boys and Girls Club, or the YWCAs, and say, you know, we have this program, would you make it available for your girls? And if that's the case, then we're able to do it through that alternative delivery.
Great. Thanks so much. And is there anything else that you want to share with us, maybe an experience from the program?
Oh, I can. I think Jen is on the line. Jen McHale is on the line, and I think she probably will agree. And I don't want to speak for her, but we were able to take the girls to see King Richard, to watch the movie about the Williams sisters. And, you know, while they probably thought the movie was about their journey as, you know, as they started practicing tennis and playing tennis, and the dad took them through the success that they have enjoyed today, they really put things in perspective in terms of whatever I want to do, I just have to have a plan, because he was very adamant about that 78-page plan. And the girls really got it towards the end. They're like, oh my God, miss, we can be them. And I'm like, yeah, we definitely, you can be them. Why not? And so that's what we wanted to expose them to. And it's great to see them growing, because once they finish the program, they kept saying, we want to do more. We want to do more of this. And so it's in our hands to do it. Let's make it happen.
And are you seeing a lot of mental health effects from the pandemic? What I am particularly taken by is the way that this program is able to kind of address some, you know, aspects of stress and anxiety.
We definitely are. We're seeing also that it's a ripple effect. It's not just the girl, it's everything that happens around her. And, you know, they are like bees in a hive. They sort of communicate that with their actions and their emotions, and, you know, or lack of emotion. And so it's a lot of working around with that emotional aspect of being a girl, and, you know, having to deal with coming back from being home, either, you know, not having access to technology or to computers or to Wi-Fi or whatever it is, or having to share now the space with, you know, their siblings or their parents who are home, or grandparents, or the extended family. So yes, we're seeing it, and they use our space as a place for them to sort of decompress out of that, and we let them be girls. That's the more important part. We don't want to force them to say, you have to do this. It's, what do you want to do today? What do you want to talk about?
Great. Well, thanks so much for sharing your amazing work with us. We are so thrilled that you could be here today.
Thanks for having us.
Great. And our next organization is the Foundation for Educational Opportunities, and their Hartford Girls Rock Leadership Institute. And I am thrilled to have with me today Dr. Brittney Yancy, who just defended her PhD. And I've thought of her that way for a long time, but now finally it's called, you know, official. So Dr. Yancy, we're thrilled to have you. Thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. Can you hear me okay? Just want
I
to make
can.
sure.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you so much, Jenny. It's so great to see you and everyone here. Aurora Foundation has been an institution that I have just grown to love and had a wonderful connection with. So I'm so happy to be here. I'm going to get right into it. We are so grateful to be here. I'm here with the president and the vice president, Chania Armstrong and Yasmin Blackburn, who are here with me. And we're so grateful to be here to share our work with you. As Jenny stated, I'm Brittney Yancy. I am one of the Hartford Girls Rock Leadership Institute facilitators. And since its inception, we have just taken this on and really provided a wonderful program to the greater Hartford community. But before I delve into the Institute, I just want to give a little background about FEO. FEO is the nonprofit organization that has continuously been involved in the greater Hartford community in various ways. And first and foremost, it is providing scholarships to deserving youth in our greater Hartford community. We have a commitment as an organization to foster and just heighten interest in education and work towards to removing any barriers and social inequities, promote higher education, and instill in our youth ways to successfully contribute to their own community. And we have collapsed these objectives into our signature program, Hartford Girls Rock. This is an annual program that celebrates, inspires, and empowers young high school age young women in the greater Hartford area. The majority, I would say 100% is women of color, 80% are African-American young women, and the 20% are Latinas who have joined us in the community. We have a commitment to ensuring that we are rejecting and counteracting the ways in which girls of color, specifically Black and Brown girls, are demeaned, stereotyped, and criminalized, right? So our program content focuses in on leadership opportunities and development, self-care, mental and emotional wellness, career exploration, and civic engagement. To do this program, our program would not be possible without the partnership of community-based organizations who nominate women who they work with. And I'm so thrilled that some of them are here with us. And so we have worked with the YWCA, the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club, Urban League. We have worked with a variety of organizations. Since its inception in 2014, we have provided over $60,000 in scholarships. And we have been able to do that with a commitment from sponsors like ESPN Travelers. However, what we have been able to do for our institute has been completely community-based. And so just to clarify, the Hartford Girls Rock program is separated into two parts. We have the Institute, which is a 3-month-long program, and then we have our culminating event, which is the signature event where everyone comes and celebrates our honorees. And so while there has been a commitment for our signature celebration, our institute is in need of resources. And so we feel that there should be a commitment and an investment in making space for these honorees and providing them through workshops and opportunities that allow them to see and hear themselves, connect and network with women who look like them. We have been overwhelmingly blessed to have women in our greater Hartford community, business women, educators, artists to come and network with these wonderful young ladies. And so supporting our 4 points, our objectives that we do, over the last 2 years, we've had to downsize, as many of us here have discussed. And in 2020, we actually had to cancel HDR completely. Last year, we were able to come back virtually. And like Grace Academy, we were dropping off HDR packets, resources, all the materials. We were ensuring that we were doing everything we can to keep all of our honorees engaged. And so that was an experience. That was quite difficult. But we recognized that we were able to still maintain our program, our guest speakers. However, we understood the missed opportunity of not having it in person. And so through the support of the Giving Circle, we really know that we will be able to maintain our program and ensure every honoree is able to participate. They do not have to pay for anything. We provide all of the materials that they need for the Institute, ensuring that everybody has an equitable experience. But specifically, being able to provide a location. We do not have a location. We are grateful for the partnerships through our community organizations that allow us to secure and house our program. But we believe your commitment will allow us to get a safe space where we can be socially distanced and everyone feels safe and committed. So that's one area. The second way, specifically, is to ensuring that the Institute does not have to compromise in terms of the types of programs that we provide. And so we're looking forward to returning this year in person. We have several activities that we're thinking about incorporating. One in particular, I'm just going to say, being able to take the honorees to local institutions like the new Brittney Museum for American Art. They will be launching a 30 American exhibition that features 30 African Americans across our country. I am the guest curator on that exhibition, and so they'll be able to attend a gallery talk and then also have the opportunity to create a canvas of their own that they're inspired by. So being able to do activities like that certainly require resources, and we just appreciate the opportunity for the Giving Circle to allow us to restore our program, ensuring that the honorees are able to feel celebrated, seen, and heard. And we know that through being able to have a secure location to house our program and to be able to maintain the level of activities will allow us to bring back Hartford Girls Rock at its finest that it's been in the past.
So Brittney, I know that you are particularly super involved in the curriculum development, and there are about 10 to 12 young women that participate in the Leadership Institute.
Since its inception, there has been on average 10 to 12 young ladies. We have discussed being able to expand that to about doubling that, about 20. We would love to expand, but again, particularly within the last 2 years, we've just had to make those decisions to keep it at 10 to 12.
Yep, and your goal is really, the end goal of the program, would you say, is for them to have skills that they otherwise wouldn't have, to be ready to take advantage of those higher education opportunities?
Absolutely. In fact, I was ensuring that you all would be able to hear from one of the participants. So I actually have a quote from one of the honorees who is from the YWCA Hartford region. She's one of our 2019 honorees, Angelique Phillips. And she said, "Through the Hartford Girls Rocks workshops, I was able to gain confidence in myself and my ability while also understanding how to thrive in this ever-changing world. we can say that, our program is to help build them and provide them with the tools to be successful women leaders, but it's best to hear from them. So I wanted to make sure that we brought them into this space and to allow you to hear from one of the honorees. And so we feel that since 2014, we've been able to do that. Each year it gets better, but we know we can take it to the next level with your support.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad that you were able to share Angelique's words with us. That's a perfect way to finish up. Thanks so much, Brittney.
And I just want to say it's so great to see so many friends here. Just so wonderful. Thank you for having us.
I'm thrilled that you're here, and I'm thrilled to see you. We keep missing each other, so we'll catch up soon. But yeah, it's a pretty great group. It's a pretty great community that I'm so glad that you're part of. All right, so next we are going to hear from the YWCA New Britain's House of Teens, and I'm very excited to have Valerie Rodino here to tell us about a program that I think will be new for many of our Giving Circle members. So thanks so much for being here, Valerie, and can you give us an overview of the House of Teens?
Absolutely. Would you be able to share the slides that I sent? Wonderful.
Yay, Marie,
the last
thanks.
one. Could you go to the first one? Thank you. So hello, everybody. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share about the House of Teens. It is an absolutely fabulous program, as all of your programs that I've heard already today. Dr. Yancy, I have chills after hearing about the work that you and your empowered females are doing. So thank you so much. It's a hard act to follow, but I'll do my best. The House of Teens is a part of our youth development curriculum, youth development continuum, excuse me. We serve teens from middle school to high school to post-secondary and placement into college or career training programs. So the House of Teens is that high school component of what we do for after school youth, out of school time youth. The House of Teens program was originally at our main building down in one of our basement classrooms. It was a small group, and over the years it expanded with a partnership with New Britain High School, E.C. Goodwin, and it then expanded to its own building, which we opened out on the east side of New Britain, which is right in the center of the neighborhood where a lot of the students live. So that picture, the top left picture, you can see welcome to the east side. That is our building. And we serve 50 high school females, or those who identify as females, every single year. It's a school year program. We do have summer programs as well, but I'm going to talk to you guys about the school year portion of our program. So we have 50 high school females that are referred to us through our partnership with New Britain High and the guidance department over at New Britain High, and a lot of word of mouth. And that's 9th through 12th grade. 80% of those girls and enrollees are below the poverty level, living right in that neighborhood, that east side neighborhood of New Britain. And 93% of them are women of color. And we meet Monday through Friday, 3 to 6 p.m. From September to June. So those are sort of the overview of what that program looks like. And then I've written down our program pillars. Those are the components of the curriculum that these girls are exposed to on a yearly basis. Physical growth and development, social and academic competence. You can see the bottom left photo is one of our staff, Erica. They do homework help every single day. They have tutors, and we are looking to possibly implement a computer and homework lab within that East Side building, so that when the students no longer are supplied by laptops by the district, which they were for the first time over the pandemic, we want to have that area of support for them so we can more effectively continue that academic support. emotional well-being. We do a lot of trauma-informed education, trauma-informed fitness classes. The bottom right-hand picture is our trauma-informed education and coordinator, Heather Labby. She's instructing a yoga class for the students there. They absolutely love yoga. They love Zumba too, but the yoga is the trauma-informed class and the mindful meditation class that's a portion of their curriculum. We also do pregnancy prevention. That is a third of our programming that we do for these girls. So they get that all year long as one third of their programming. And that's a partnership with someone from Klingberg comes over to implement that program. And it's a pregnancy prevention Planned Parenthood curriculum, state approved curriculum. We also do relationship violence and injury prevention. As many of you know, the YWCA has a sexual assault crisis center where we serve a 40-town region in Connecticut. And they come and do several group and one-on-one presentations and curriculum with the students on relationship violence and injury prevention. And then also we do policy and advocacy, and I will go into a little bit more about our civic engagement in our next slide, but actually the top right picture is the only one I haven't talked about, and that was a partnership with the New Britain Museum of American Art, and they do a lot of education and empowerment art, and they do expressive art, and that's a new part of their curriculum that they are really, really talented at, more talented than I could be. So that's sort of a broad overview of the pillars of that program and the sort of the suite of activities that's included. One thing that I wanted to include was regarding the emotional well-being portion. We have newly implemented, and we implemented this right before COVID, so it came in handy throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, which is we partnered with the Community Health Center here in New Britain, and we opened a satellite behavioral health and mental health clinic within that building. So students who either don't use their school-based health center or they want to continue the services of their school-based health center into their after-school program can meet one-on-one with a behavioral health therapist at our House of Teens, or they can do that virtually. We have a television in that room and they can do a virtual session within the House of Teens with their provider. So if you could just go to the next slide. Thank you so much. I wanted to highlight within the House of Teens, we do have a CHW Youth Training Academy. It is a workforce development program to certify high school students as community health workers. And these ladies are so integral and so important to the health of their communities because they know their communities, they're connected, interconnected within their communities. And we want them and those who are interested in social work and interested in public health to go back into their communities once they've received a professional certification and job and be able to help then back to their own communities. So this community health worker training academy, we've partnered with Southwestern AHEC, which is the Area Health Education Council. They send a trainer who does the training course portion of the state requirements for certification, which is the 90-hour classroom time. So the students with an adult learner, you can see the pictures of our first two cohorts there. The top cohort, the lady standing at the top left with the hijab on, that is Sumai. She was the adult learner for the first cohort of those 4 teens. And then Cote, who is the lower center woman with the hijab on, she was the second adult learner for cohort 2. And, you know, unless they're 18 and can go out and we could refer them to employment, they stay within our program. So we actually have 10 students that are still in our program. So they do their 90-hour training course with Southwestern AHEC on community engagement, health techniques, basic human assessments, blood pressures and things like that, how to refer services, medical services, how to help people navigate health systems or forms, or get to the dentist, or remind someone about taking their pills. So they learn very basic health assessment and health referral techniques. Then they do a 50-hour project, which is a photo voice project, which is a photography project that they identify barriers to health in their communities, photograph those barriers of health, and then turn that presentation into something that they can bring to local stakeholders. They've presented that in front of the Common Council, the Parks Commission. So they do a 50-hour project that's required by the state of Connecticut. And then they have to do 1,000 hours of field work. And let me tell you, that is not easy for students to do while they're in school, while they're doing youth sports. They go out for the summer. Some of them really want to get jobs, but they stick with it. And those adult learners, that co-learning model really helps those students to stick with it and to stick with those hours. So as of right now, out of our cohort here, we have 2 people that have been hired out into full-time employment as patient liaisons. And we have 1 other student that's graduating high school on June 29th, and she's actually going out into a similar position out. Trinity Health is a very good partner of ours, and they offer positions for us to refer. We're like a farm team for health jobs right now. And we have a new cohort beginning on June 20th, and that'll be our 3rd cohort. And so this Youth Training Academy is a branch of our House of Teens, and we plan to continue that if we continue working with those partners there. And then I have one more slide here, and you did ask, what have we seen? What needs have we seen because of COVID? And I did put together just a short list, but it is a heavy list of the things that we have seen throughout the COVID-19 pandemic for our students. Many of you know, as you track your own school districts, chronic absenteeism has skyrocketed throughout the pandemic. New Britain's high school chronic absenteeism has skyrocketed to 40% chronic absenteeism. And I would like all of you to know that every single senior that went through our House of Teens program throughout the pandemic has graduated high school. So we have kept those students engaged and throughout their academic career to graduation. We did a project called COVID-19 Stories, and we really wanted the students to tell us what needs they had and how they were feeling through the pandemic. So the students participated in something called COVID-19 Stories. It was something we published on our local Neighborhood Revitalization Zone Facebook page. We have a partnership with the NRZ. And the first story, so I'll read you. So the students have.
Oh, so Valerie, we're out of time, so we'll.
Oh, see, this is why I got pictures. Pictures are worth 1,000 words. I apologize. Yeah.
No, that's okay. So what we'll do is we'll be sure and share your slides with everybody.
Wonderful.
So they can read that. That's great. Thank you so much. I am so impressed with this program and so grateful for sharing it.
Thank you for letting me share.
Yeah, no, it's super impressive. So glad that you could be here today. And we're gonna finish up with Horizons at Ethel Walker with Princess Hyatt. And Princess, I'm thrilled that you're here and thrilled that you can share about Horizons. This is definitely a program that I have been able to come out and visit and see in action. So I'm thrilled for you to share about the tremendous impact that you're making.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you to the Aurora family. You all have been longstanding partners with us since the very beginning. And so I'm so glad to be here, especially in partnership with other women and girls-led empowerment organizations, community-based. Together, we will do this. And like you said, I would be nowhere but here, especially considering, all the things that are going on in the world right now. So Horizons, we are an affiliate-based program. We have over 60 other programs in the nation, and we happen to be the first all-girls program, so something that we are very proud of. We serve Greater Hartford girls, from pre-K to 8th grade. And so Jenny will know at the beginning, when my predecessor, Isabel Ceballos, who kicked off this series, when she started the program in 2015, we had about 45 students, and that was pre-K to one, I believe, grade 1. And now we've grown so much that we are now catering to pre-K students all the way through 8th grade. And so that's 145 girls, Black and brown girls. And so I'm so proud of that. Our mission is to combat summer learning loss. Through the pandemic, we have really had to kind of sit and ask ourselves, what are the immediate needs of our students? What do they need right now? And families. And so, while we have a focus on enrichment, year-round enrichment, we've had to think about mental health and wellness needs through the pandemic. We've had to think about food insecurity. We've had to think about what the learning recovery and the pathway looks like for our students right now. So some of the things that we've done, we had a Healthier Horizons week, and each of those days we focused on different pieces of mental health and wellness. One of the days was music, movement, and meditation. Another day was, eating healthy, and we had a Latina a cook that I work with do a live or virtual she cooked a meal for the girls. And we also did essential oils. So Anna, I want to know who you work with, because we did something similar where we talked about how essential oils can help you, sleep and rest and also get ready for, assignments and things like that, working with anxiety and making you feel better. So I'm glad that a lot of us are doing the same things. We're making a huge impact in some of the same ways. We also saw that things like Chromebooks and portable Wi-Fi devices were a need. We partner with Hartford Public Schools. And so when we were watching the news, long lines of our parents who needed devices right away, we saw there was an opportunity to partner. And so we purchased 50 Chromebooks right away. And for the students who did not have Chromebooks, they were able to have a new one so that they could learn. And of course, there were also other barriers. You had students who were taking care of their siblings. You had some students who had 2 parents who were working even more through the pandemic. And so they were sort of taking care of their siblings, not able to have the support at home. And then we had some students who, digital literacy was a huge thing. And so we partnered with the Women's Mentoring Network to offer digital literacy, not only in English, but also in Spanish for some of our families. And food insecurity was another piece of it. And so grocery store gift cards, meeting our parents right where they are, right in the community, we've had to do that. And so, I'm glad we're here now and we're thinking about the recovery phase. The pandemic has certainly helped us learn what some of those opportunity gaps are, exacerbated them, as Janine said, but given us a mission to really come through for our students and families. A lot of so our 8th graders are moving to the 9th grade phase, which is a huge endeavor for them. And the funding that you all will help us with is in filtering our students into that high school phase. We've called it the Radiant Leaders Program. And we want to focus on one-on-one mentorship. We want our students to be able to have college visits, right? To also think about SAT prep, and if they want to go to private schools and things like that, they have the resources and supports to help prepare them for that journey. I'll say as my own lived experience, I did not go to or step foot on the college campuses right in Hartford until I was an adult. Hart, St. Joseph's, Trinity, they're right in our backyards. And so I know many of the parents, many of the families are experiencing some of the same things. And I like to normalize some of the access and the opportunity and the resources for our students. So some of that becomes normalized, right? They already have access to it, and they understand how this has shaped and changed their trajectory. I want to leave you with this, and I'll also have a video for you all to get a better sense of the program and where our high schoolers are heading. But we have a pledge that we say every morning of our program. And so we have our summer program, we have our tutoring on the weekends, we have some after school programming, some fall sports, but our signature program and my most favorite is the summer program, because I get to see the girls for a full 6 weeks. And every morning of that program, we have a pledge. And here it is, our pledge. I promise to lift girls up, have their backs, and make it safe for them to be exactly who they are. Every time I look in the mirror, I'll remind myself that I am not alone, that I am beautiful, and that my voice matters. I am enough.
I just love that. I love the love and care that Princess, that you give to all these young women. And just so everyone understands about the summer program, it's 6 weeks long. It is intensive. The girls get there at like 7:30 or 8 in the morning, and they're there all day. They do very intense academic work, lots of reading, lots of math, lots of STEM. They do robotics.
And
And
swimming.
they learn to swim, right? Which is huge for communities of color, right? Because there aren't lots of opportunities for that. And so it's such a huge safety issue for the young women, but also it's just, if anyone who wants to go with me to the summer and just get a lot of joy.
Yes, we would love to have you. It's wonderful for our girls to see other community leaders, white, black, brown, whoever you are. It's such a wonderful piece of exposure, and also just access to people who care about their lives and where they're going. Come on, Brittney, come on, Dr. Yancy.
Yeah, you would definitely want Dr. Yancy to come talk about amazing Black women leaders from the past and the present. So thank you so much. That wraps up our presentations. And I think Marie is going to tell us about just upcoming dates, and then we'll have the chance for questions.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. I always get a little emotional listening to all this incredible work being done. So thank you, everybody. So our next meeting is June 9th, and Giving Circle members will be getting together and discussing funding levels. And then we really, really hope that everybody can come to Jenny's house. We already have, I think, almost 20 people coming to a happy hour in person. And I love that it's everyone, it's supporters, it's program administrators, it's members of the Giving Circle. It's we can't wait for people to be able to get together and see each other and talk about all the great things being done. So we really hope you're able to come to that. And then June 15th is our 100 Men campaign, and it is going to be in person at the Dillon Stadium, the soccer field, and we'll all be there. We already have a great group. Amber Anthony, who is also a Giving Circle member, is doing a fabulous job, and our committee and a student, and it'll be great to see everybody. So it's another in-person opportunity, and all of those registration links and information will be on the follow-up email. So you don't have to write any of it down. I'll send that out. You'll be sick of hearing from me. And so, yes, I know that Maggie Willard, I had seen, had a question. So I just want to go back. 3 different monitors going on. For Girl Scouts, how many girls actually go through, stay in scouting, and do you track them after they leave your programs?
Thank you, Marie. And I did answer privately, but I wasn't sure if they received the question. So, but the reply, we tend to keep the whole group together until the membership year ends on September 30th. Many of our girls are transient girls, so they'll be in one school for half of the year, and then we lose them, and then we find them at another school across town or in another city. So, it's not always 100% retention, but we try to stay with them after the program is over, at least till the end of the year. And if we go back to the same site, we typically end up getting the same girls, just at another grade level.
Excellent. And the other question, and she may have done this privately too, for Grace, is parental involvement still a strong part of Grace's model?
Yes, I did. I responded, and it's a huge part of our program. Parents are incredibly involved at our school, whether providing lunches for our teachers, parent-teacher conferences are 100% all year. I had 100% parent-teacher conferences all year. So yes, they're hugely involved in our school.
That's amazing. That is amazing. Does anyone else have any questions? We have a few minutes left, which is wonderful. If you just want to, I have it set now, I think, to just speaker mode. So you can, if you take yourself off, mute and ask a question, feel free to. And
well, and I would just like to point out what's been happening in the chat. I'm so excited that Chrissy Kitty could come and be with us today from People's Bank, and she, People's Bank is not People's United Bank, which I learned talking to Chrissy, but they are new in this kind of northern Connecticut region, and so we're very excited. We just got connected through our 100 Men campaign, and you'll see in the chat that she's offering additional support to our programs today. So that is right. Aurora loves when we can be a connector like that to really amplify the amazing work that's happening for women and girls in the community. So we want to thank them so much and shout them out, and really appreciate that fabulousness.
I have a question. This is Chloe. I have a question for Princess. Can you just remind me, once the girls are in your program, do they stay in it through their... Okay.
Yeah, so once the girls are in our program, they are in the program. And so when we think about sisterhood and community and connections, these are girls who have grown up with each other. And even though they don't see each other in their academic school year, some of them, they know that in the summer, on the weekends, after school, they have another community base right here at Horizons. We also offer siblings. Once your sister is in the program, then your siblings can also join.
Thank you. So I don't know if it's possible, Marie, but I would be curious about whether these amazing leaders could let us know like what the demand is versus what is being able to be provided at this point. So if you have 145 girls, do you have a sense of whether there are another 200 waiting? And for Yasmin, if you serve 10 to 12, do you have a sense that there are, hundreds, I'm assuming, in the wings, but I'd just be curious about that.
So Chloe, I'll just say, from last summer alone, the need for childcare was huge. And so we worked with some of our partners like Hartford Foundation for Giving, where there was a directory. And if there were students and families who were searching for childcare, especially emergency childcare, that our name was on that list. And that, we work specifically with 4 feeder schools in Hartford, but we made exceptions for students if we had the space that really needed to be here in our program. So we did accept many students last year, as we found that there was so much space and need.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We see Jenny and I and the members, I know there's a few members of our grants committee on here. I mean, when you start to hear sometimes the waiting list for some of the programs, it's heartbreaking. And also, there's only so much staff right? So there's staff and there's only so much you can do, but then the need is always there. There's never enough money. And so, we're so grateful to be here with the Giving Circle. You're all such amazing people. And right now we have just over $15,000 to be able to divide up. And we really would love that to grow so that we could just divide more. And there's, any amount that we can do, we know that it's going straight to the programs that are doing the most work. So thank you all so much.
Yep, definitely not too late. Too late is 12:30 on June 9th, but so we have a little time to raise some more money. Do we have any other questions? I love, there's a comment from Kate Eichel in the chat about how this makes her feel that she's heartened after such a hard week. So that's definitely how I feel. We're just thrilled to be able to highlight these programs. They are reaching the girls who are so vulnerable and who need these opportunities and who are going to be that we're changing the world so that they can change it even more. So, oh, how I love you all. What a fabulous community. We're so thrilled to see you all here today. Thank you so much for making time to be with us.
Thank you all. Have a wonderful day. It was great to see you.